All right, guys, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Homefront Podcast. This is episode 41. Brooke is back from her hiatus in Florida as she enjoyed some sunshine.
Did you say that last week? I haven't listened to it yet.
No, I said you're just away in Florida.
Oh.
Yeah. We both decided to wear green today. I guess we're getting ready for St. Patrick's Day.
That's the next holiday coming. No, Family Day's next,
Yeah.
then St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. So anyways, lots to talk about in the real estate market. It is just a weird one, that's for sure. We got a special guest here too.
Yeah,
Brooke's
Abby's
dog.
back on.
Abby's back. She might be a reoccurring guest.
Yeah, she's a very good girl.
What's going on with you? What are you seeing in the market? What's happening?
To be honest, I think things have picked up a little bit in terms of activity. For me specifically, like I'm not saying as a, like the market as a whole, there's still definitely listings that have been sitting for days and days and days. I just noticed personally, I'm busier than the last couple of months. People are getting ready for spring market for sure. So that's on the horizon. So sellers that would rather sell in spring that have been holding off through the winter, and buyers that maybe want to catch, these good prices that we're seeing before the possibility of them edging upwards if rates do come down this year. So having lots of conversations. There's a couple listings I have that I have listed low. I know that
Oh no.
people don't like that.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah, people don't like that, but it's getting so many showings. I've seen a couple houses that have gotten wicked amounts of offers. Nothing's really changed in terms of, the prices as a whole, I don't think. It's not like I think they're up
significantly. Yeah.
No.
We'll touch on that in some of the data here. So we'll back that up. But yeah,
What are you
pretty
seeing?
good pulse in the market.
Let's hear.
Yeah, same thing. It's like,
Even our listings, like it's been up for what, a month and a half, and now all of a sudden more showings and now an offer, right?
Yeah, we actually sold one of our condos that we had up for probably about 35 days, something like that.
Yeah, and it was stunning. Like we staged it, we did everything. So, but it just at the beginning, just showings were down. Right?
Showings were down. Yeah.
Can't sell a house unless people are coming in.
We came out the new year, like both of our listings that we had were vacant, so we came out right in the new year, which is always a tough time to come out. But like you kind of have to. Like we're not going to tell our clients we're not going to put on the market, right? Because then they have carrying costs, so we have to try and put out there as best we can. But at the end of the day, we did eventually get it sold. We had a lot of showings. Yeah. Well, not a lot. I think we had like 12.
Well, toward the end.
It started to pick up. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of mortgage brokers are saying that more people are getting pre-approved. Yeah. But yeah, let's dive into some of the data here. So here's the first headline. So signs of life. Canadian home sales up 22% from same time last year. So remember, this is home sales, not prices. Like people just always get this twisted. So home sales are up 22%. So whispers of the housing market finally picking up steam this year have now turned up to full volume, with the latest data from the Canadian Real Estate Association, CREA, revealing a 22% annual jump in home sales in January, the largest year-over-year gain since May of 2021. Sales are up, market conditions have tightened quite a bit, and there has been anecdotal evidence of renewed competition among buyers. Unsurprisingly, gains were led by many of the country's most populous markets, including the Greater Toronto Area, Hamilton, Burlington, Montreal, Greater Vancouver, the Fraser Valley, and Calgary. In areas where sales have shut up most over the last 2 months, prices are still trending lower. The aggregate composite MLS home price index fell 1.2% month over month in January, slightly up from 1.1% decline seen in December. So basically what that is saying is that prices are stable, like it's declined 1%, but sales are up 22%. So you have to think about it, right? Like we had all this like in a sense pent up demand. So many people were on the sidelines waiting to see what's going to happen, right? Rightfully so. The economy was in not turmoil, but it was what's going to happen. And we're still in that phase of what's going to happen.
Keep in mind, economic uncertainty is the key driver in keeping buyers on the sidelines. Aside from even affordability, economic uncertainty is number one that keeps people.
Keeps people on the sidelines. And we do forget that like a lot of houses, when you look at the sale price now versus the peak, like they've dropped a lot. Like in Hamilton, as an example, like you're selling duplexes in the 900s and now they're in the 600s. Like you kind of forget about that.
You couldn't even get one in the 900s on the mountain anyways in the peak. Like you just couldn't if you had under $1 million budget.
Yeah.
Now, you can pick one up in the 700s.
Yeah. So when we look at prices, that's what we're seeing. Like if you factor in mortgage costs and monthly costs, it's you understand why prices did drop so much. So I think a lot of people were kind of waiting to see our price is going to drop a lot more. And, the story is truth. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But in terms of market activity, yeah, people are back out there, not creating FOMO. But in Toronto, what I've noticed, because I'm helping some buyers out here, is a lot of people are listing at like $9.99, and I'll look at the listing and I'll be like, this is like 1.2 all day, and it'll sell for 1.2 and change.
Yeah.
So people are doing that. Toronto is definitely active. Like you're seeing like 11 plus offers on one listing that I was at. We didn't go in on it, but 11 plus offers on a listing at $1 million. It shows you that people are back out there a little bit. So I think that'll be the theme of this year. I think that prices will be pretty stable.
I don't think they're going crazy up.
The amount of sales is going to be up. I think more people are going to start listing their homes. There's going to be a little bit more confidence. Yeah. Like we're going from a market that was dead to like a market that's coming back to life.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we're comparing to last January, like that was like historically low, right? The amount of sales that month compared to like the past 20 years, like it was such a low. So to be up 22% sounds like a lot, but we were just really, really down last winter. But funny enough, toward the spring market, everything heated up again, remember? And then in the summer it died down, and it's still kind of been slow since the summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, spring's always been the best market in terms of activity. Like back historically, agents used to take winters and summers off of real estate.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
A lot of them anyways.
It's very, for the most part, it's been pretty cyclical.
Like the spring market is usually the time most people transact if you're just looking at the data.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think spring will be busy again because there has been that pent up demand of a lot of people that maybe would have bought last year that just said, I'm just going to hold out a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think so too. Like we've been on a lot more listing appointments together and trying to put stuff together. I still think it's a challenge to get stuff across the finish line. Like there's no doubt it's not. Yeah. People are still like,
it's not the firm offer. And here's the deposit with the offer. Or anything.
People are reaching out to us and, we'll do a lot of work for them, and rightfully so. And they kind of have this hesitation.
Yeah.
Which happens for sure. But it's, that's kind of what I'm finding, like anecdotally, like, why haven't we sold 50 homes yet? Well, you kind of have people just.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's like you just ride the wave with them because their fears and your insecurities of what's going on in Canada are valid. Right?
100%.
And so it's basically situation to situation, what's going to make the most sense, right? If somebody's underwater or a little bit cash flow negative and they want to sell, well, I've been telling people, well, don't sell unless, we're going to bring that money somewhere else, right? So that you need to have kind of more ducks in a row than just making that quick decision. And then sometimes it comes from them, and it's such a personal decision as well. And everything that they're saying, and even that we're saying, everything's valid, right? There's no certainty ever, but now more than ever, it's like tread lightly. And that's why having those multiple scenarios and avenues to either grow your portfolio or sell one off and move to this, it's just good to know your options too. So I think a lot of people are coming for the sake of, maybe I don't want to make a move this second, I just want to know my options. And they always pop up some here and there. They
always come back.
They do.
I love how you say that.
Yeah, no, we ride the wave with them.
100%. All right, let's hop into this next one here. Why is new home construction down? Simply, it's too expensive for builders and buyers. So at a time when we need more housing, new supply, unfortunately, is trending in the wrong direction. And according to most pundits, the situation going to get worse before it gets better. There has been a disastrous slowdown of construction, both low and high-rise buildings. Most of the condo towers under construction were started a few years back and will be completed the next couple of years, but there will be a vacuum as there's little new supply in the pipeline. Only 10 cities across the country saw a rise in housing starts in 2023, while a majority saw a decline. With record population growth, there just hasn't been enough homes being built to keep up. There are plenty of cranes across our city, but it doesn't provide a true picture of the housing situation. So 36% of builders anticipate a decline in housing starts in 2024 compared to the previous year. So 36%. But yeah, it's just, we always talk about this is like builders aren't going to build if buyers aren't putting down the deposit, and buyers are looking at pre-construction saying it's too expensive versus what I could get for resale. So we're kind of stuck in this situation.
Have you seen the incentives too? Okay, this microphone, I hope I'm talking into the camera here. Like some of the incentives that builders are even offering.
One in Vancouver was a Porsche. They were
get a
legit.
Porsche
They were
if you-
offering a Porsche if you bought it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
See, like the incentives. And I've had a couple calls about pre-construction lately, and I don't think it's the worst idea. It's just you got to be careful which you select. And if the builder is offering a Porsche to buy your unit, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want the Porsche and you do want that location, it could be,
It could work
it could work
out.
out. Now you have a Porsche, but some of them are paying realtors mass amounts of commission, and there are a ton of realtors that'll just, have people on the pay-per-click. And
Yeah.
I think all of the stories that we've heard in the past couple of years has kept people being a little bit more weary than in the past too. So the sentiment of pre-construction isn't that positive right now.
Yeah.
But if you
right.
do your research and follow the data of specific projects and buildings and builders, and it could be still a good option. I still believe in it. I do, but I understand why it's down so much.
I mean, simply all you have to do is look at a price per square foot model and then see how long it's going to take that project to be complete. Add another 6 months to a year because they always get delayed, and then decide if the premium that you're paying is going to catch up by the time it's completed.
Yeah, but then there's also the way to look at it, like there's the extended deposit structure. So if you're going to put 5% down per year in deposit money, essentially you want to be purchasing in an area that you think that is going to grow at more than 5%, essentially.
Yeah.
Because it is a little bit of return on your investment, and your investment, just like anybody knows, if you buy $1 million house, you're not required to put down $1 million, right? So there's a little bit on return on your deposit money too. So if you, no, it keeps flying. If you put down 60K or something like that, and your condo goes up, let's say 60K after 3 years, that's not a crazy lot per year, but you've made 100% return on your money, right? You're only putting down the deposit structure, and what is $15,000 a year, in some of these cases, right? I mean, that's a little low, but if we're talking a $500,000 condo, 5% per year, which some builders are offering.
It's crazy. You see, like I still see like pre-construction lines like outside like Mattamy office.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was reading that someone said like it's all real estate agents.
Well, I hear about a lot of Mattamy projects in Oakville that are closing now, and Mattamy knows that the value of them are so much lower than what they had bought them for. So the appraisals are coming in short. So then Mattamy at the end of the day is, getting screwed over because buyers can't close, right? So they're offering, specifically in Oakville, this townhouse project are offering, if you put $100,000 more in right now, like as a deposit, because they're still building, we'll take $100,000 off your purchase price. So for example, if you bought at 1.7, you would have had to put down 20% over the course of a year and a half in a deposit structure. But if you give them another 100,000 now, then now your new purchase price is 1.6.
I was talking to someone, a mortgage broker, and he said that somebody bought in that Mattamy project for 1.6, and the appraisal came in at 1.2 and change. Like not even close. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's tough. There's a couple of them that I've seen too. They're definitely lower than what the pre-construction price was. But again, like even when I saw it get released, it's like 1.7 for a townhouse. Like I understand.
You had to know, right?
It's like for that to come back at 2 million, like even when things were just going up at a speedy rate, it's like even just to like think about a townhouse in Oakville, north of Dundas, okay, not even like downtown Oakville or anything, north of Dundas.
Yeah.
Being worth 2 million.
It was crazy because my buyers, I had a couple, I sold their condo in Oakville. I went to high school with the girl, and they wanted to get a townhouse, and it was up in that area. It was north of Dundas and Trafalgar, and the Mattamy project was a bit more east of that. And they were selling for like 1.6, 1.7. And this townhouse was perfect. Like I wish I had the money at the time. I would have bought it. There was tenants in there, but it was still clean. It was like 3 to 4 years old, and they got it for 1.1 million. And like this project down the road is going for $500,000 more. And like you could just go on House Sigma. You could have seen the comp right there as a buyer, just to be like, and this was in the peak too. Like it was like, it was a time where the data is available. So, it's not the builder's fault. It's the consumer's fault for going and spending that money when the research can be done out there. So, in my opinion, but
I feel for some people.
I do too. Like
I just did an assignment.
You tried to do what you thought was right and it wasn't,
Yeah.
but you got to do homework. Like you got to look at numbers.
Yeah. And sometimes you do your homework, and that one, like that aside, sometimes people that did do their homework, like historically, if you average out even peaks and lows in, let's call it the GTA, 5% per year is very, it's not even a stretch, right? So if you estimate a return on 5%, not thinking that we were going to hit this massive decline,
Yeah. Even
you
5% on $1 million, like 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
And you're paying a $500,000. I wish they called me. I would have told them not to do it. Anyways, it is what it is. I guess we'll see kind of some of that mess come to fruition because it's still coming down the pipeline.
There's still the people that are winning now, though, because it's a low market. Nobody wants to buy. So builders are offering so many incentives. So if you do buy in a low market with pre-construction, you're not paying these mortgage rates, but you are getting the better deal because builders are doing what they can to
some of them are offering like 3% interest rates for 3 years.
Yeah, so they're guaranteeing you the difference in what you could rent it for when it's completed and your mortgage rate. They're offering to like pay that difference so that you're not a cash flow negative situation. Like there's so many incentives that you could actually win while buying in a market like this, where the sentiment is pre-construction is scary and it's not good. Well, it's because most people bought in a peak market where no incentives were offered because things were so busy. And now that things aren't as busy, builders are offering some good packages, and you just got to know where to look and work with the right people that know how to negotiate these things for you so that, yours doesn't end up like what you've heard. Because there is very many ways to win in purchasing pre-construction, and especially if you already have mortgages and you're not mortgageable to buy another investment, but you have cash. Like, I think it's a great investment to grow your portfolio and just be diverse, but not every project is a great investment. It really,
and the reputation of the builder too, as well.
There's a lot to look at.
There's a lot to look at.
It's not just signing a piece of paper like it was before. And
making a bunch of money.
But yeah, it is an avenue that can do well for you, and it's done well for me. And peaks and valleys aside, if you do it smart in good locations and you calculate return on your deposit money, and
I did well.
Account.
I did, I bought my condo pre-construction
exactly.
too. Right?
So we both have done it.
I just really did my homework, and so did you. So you really got to do your homework. Bottom line,
or work with somebody that has done that for you.
It's like we've been through it. So if they are working with agents and you wanted some help, we'd love to help you. So anyways, do you want to read the next one?
Sure thing.
It's the third one down.
The third one down in our little shared notes app. It'll be like 4 a.m. and it'll be like, Cortez updated the notes.
Why up so early? Anxiety.
Okay. Interest rates won't fix housing affordability, says Macklem. Okay, don't leave it to interest rates to fix Canada's ongoing housing affordability crisis, said Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem during a speech at the Montreal Council. Housing affordability is a significant problem in Canada, but not one that can be fixed by raising or lowering interest rates, Macklem said. The Bank of Canada head instead pointed to other aggravating factors like the lack of housing supply, exacerbated by zoning restrictions, delays, and uncertainties in the approval processes, and shortages of skilled workers. None of these are things monetary policy can address. Hey, I agree.
I agree with them too.
Yes.
I know a lot.
What? I like Tiff Macklem. I do.
I know a lot of people don't like him.
People want to but he's
right.
He's right. And they're trying to combat inflation. So like even my sister was like, I want to know what these guys are doing with their stock portfolio because they have the power to change things. Kind of right in that sense. But I don't think I would have maybe even if all this money was printed over COVID by the government and inflation was at 8%, which is an unsustainable rate, as the governor of the working at the Bank of Canada needing to fix inflation, it's like, what else could he have done, right?
Yeah.
If he didn't do that, what inflation could be? We could be in a Venezuelan situation. What is their scenario?
Their currency? It's
I
actually don't know, but it's worthless.
Right. So he had to do that. So he is like the scapegoat right now, and people hate him, but I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I think he made some mistakes during COVID, but at the end of the day,
lowering it that much.
and for that long. Yeah. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you don't really know what to do, right? There's a lot of uncertainty when, a global pandemic hits, but yeah, could he have done better? For sure. But he's just human, right? And unfortunately, he is right though. Like the Bank of Canada has called out the federal government a bunch, saying like there's too much immigration, like that causes inflation. It puts pressure on the rental market. And yeah, the supply of homes is so true.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough supply of homes. We just talked about starts going down even more.
Right.
And
do you think these like pre-built homes are going to become a thing?
Which ones?
Like you see all these like little homes that you can buy for like 60 grand or something.
On Amazon?
I saw one on Amazon. I don't know about that one specifically, but like even like the Home Depot ones, like where it's like 60 grand. And
I just don't know where you put them, right? Because you need to spray foam them and get them insulated.
Right.
And then you need to run a gas line to them. And then you need to run electricity to them. Like I know it seems cool for 60K, but like once you start running these different lines, and like where does that come from, right?
So let's call it, you have propane tanks, electricity.
Solar electricity. It's just, but it's not livable for Canada. Like maybe you could work in like a warmer climate, but like these things need to be like really spray foamed if you think about it, right? Like you have very cold winters here, and it's like, what kind of heating are you going to get in there? Propane? Like gas really does the best job. Like you can't put radiators in there.
We're
like
gonna go back to wood burning fireplaces.
Yeah.
And
like maybe you can put one in your parents' backyard eventually. I don't know, but it's going to cost you a lot of money to run those lines over to
60 grand plus how much it costs to run all of those lines. Still
100%. Like you're still doing better. Like run all the plumbing, run all those lines. Like it could be a legitimate option. I think it just depends on zoning within a municipality. Like, Greg and Linda, who are spent, their house is worth $2 million. They've been there for 30 years. And, Peter and someone else is living in the backyard there in a shed. Like, I don't think they're going to be too happy. So like getting over that hurdle of allowing those in the backyard will be tough. But it would be cool. Like I don't see anything wrong with it. Like if you built a garden suite, like I've seen them be priced out about 200 grand. So if you could build a garden suite for 200 grand, you could get $2,500 a month for it. Could be a good ROI. But
the thing I don't like about garden suites is it doesn't really push the value up of houses if you have a garden suite, like maybe a little bit, but number one, appraisals don't recognize them as like a higher value of the house. So there's that. So a refinance would be tough to pull your money out because appraisals don't see them, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's a thing.
Yeah, I wonder what. I think as a consumer though, I would see value in it. I'd be like, you know what? Like I could put a couple back there, a friend back there,
because
a family member.
Have an investor mindset.
Yeah. But I think the market would respond, like maybe not appraisers, but the market would respond to a garden suite favorably, knowing they have some supplemental income.
I agree. And I pointed out when there's detached garages in the backyard when I'm out on showings, like I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people do not want, like you always say, don't want anyone in their backyard.
Yeah. Don't want it. I actually like these big lots in Oakville, for example. Like if you were just like living in your parents' house and they were just like, let's get a garden suite back there. I want you just in your own room, but I still want you close. And then like as your parents age, like you could help them and stuff like that, right? Like it could be like kind of like a family dynamic in a sense. I'm not saying like it's sad to say that this is how bad the Canadian real estate market is, that I'm saying it could be a good thing. Cause like, yeah, I wish everyone had the opportunity to go out and buy a home in these areas, but they can't. But as like, instead of sitting there crying in a bedroom beside your parents, like could you have a garden suite in the back for 200 grand? It doesn't seem like a bad idea, but what do I know?
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to live in my dad's backyard, but
I live in my parents' backyard.
I know you love your parents.
My parents are my best friends.
All right. Last one here. So unbeknownst to many, fixed rates will be on the rise soon. Canada's bond yield has risen higher to 3.671%. It was about 3.4%. After hotter than expected inflation data from the US and Canada. Big banks haven't adjusted for this yet, but they eventually will. TIF has also expressed that they're not in a rush to drop the overnight rate. It seems like rate cuts are still on the sidelines until better data comes. The moral of the story is fixed rates should be on the rise soon, albeit not by much, but rates coming down significantly doesn't seem to be in the cards. So yeah, the 5-year bond, we have explained this before, it's connected to the fixed rate.
Yeah, the variable rate could very much come down at the same time the fixed rate is going up. So they're very independent of each other.
Yeah, but they do kind of move in
They
tandem. Yeah.
usually do. Yes.
Yeah.
But
so
we've
it's
been so high. It was one of the first times like these past year that the variable rate was higher than the fixed rate.
Yeah.
Like the fixed rate is traditionally higher.
Yeah, traditionally, yeah. It is usually higher, but yeah, it looks like fixed rates are still going to be going up. Like they've come down, which is great, but it just the reaction to the inflation data that we had, even in the US, wasn't good. So we're going to see them up again, not a ton. But yeah, to think they're just coming down in this like rocket ship is just it's crazy, right? Because rates went up. There's a saying that I said before: rates kind of go up like you're taking the elevator, and they come down like you're taking the stairs. It's slow. You have something to add? Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
No.
I was just yeah.
You were thinking,
Yeah.
but yeah, we actually had this. There was a video of you,
Me.
yeah, on our Instagram. And you said that any mortgage broker who says that rates are going to come down crazy and the spring market's going to be crazy would be out to lunch. Like you were just anecdotally saying.
Did I get a lot of backlash from that?
No, you actually didn't. But some, of course, real estate agent and a mortgage agent who's in one, which is in my eyes mind blowing. Like you should do one or the other. Anyways, she sent us this whole thing and it was in our requests. And she was like, you guys are spreading misinformation. Oh, God. I can get my clients this. Multiple offers are back. Like, that's just someone you don't want to take advice from. Like, that's just someone who makes you make bad decisions because they're trying to make a buck. And I responded and I was like, just go away. Like,
that's what you said.
Yeah, I was like, just go away. And then she called me a child.
I don't think that the rates are going to come down anytime soon. I don't think there's like this absolute big rush. I think activity is going to pick up for the spring. So if we find an investment that's works right now, I don't think waiting for the market is ever a good idea. If you're pre-approved now and think the numbers work, then great, let's do it now instead of
let's get out there and
right.
Look, yeah.
But I don't think that, rates are going to come down anytime soon. Like I say summer, it could even be after that. Yeah.
And there's evidence to back this up, which is just so crazy, other than like this girl just saying like, I can get rates at here, and here. And the rates she sent me were like bananas. Like they were like in the 4s. And I was like, you can't get that.
So then you can get a CMHC rate in the 4s.
Yeah. So it's going to be insured.
You have an insured mortgage.
So you're paying a mortgage premium on it. Like that's just a person who's just like not educating anyone right. And just to say that we're spreading misinformation because we're literally talking about a mortgage agent who had a prediction is not misinformation.
No. We are good at saying both sides because nobody knows. I don't know. You don't know.
No.
He doesn't know. Like nobody really knows.
Predictions are a shitty game.
Yeah. Predictions are a shitty game.
Yeah, for sure. But like looking at the bond yield, it's going back up.
Yeah.
Does she even know that the bond yield is connected to the fixed rate? Probably not. But yeah, it was just funny to see, right? Like people get so up in arms about like which side of the fence you are on. And why can't you just be neutral? Like why can't you just give someone really good advice?
Yeah.
Or here's the good opportunity, here's what could go wrong. Here's what you're approved for. Do you feel comfortable here? How's your job security? Just like asking those questions where they feel comfortable in their decision or they take a step back. Mm-hmm. So anyways, you need to stop spreading misinformation, Brooke.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. I should log on to the DMs more often.
Yeah. Honestly, most of the time they're great. Like people are just
we
so supportive. Yeah. People are so supportive. Yeah, it's awesome.
Good.
Yeah. So just connecting with a lot of young people I find is kind of our audience. Which is great. People with like-minded.
Right.
And they just love that we're saying what we're saying, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
It has been fun.
Having a sentimental moment here about.
What a year. Oh my God, Cortez has a tear.
No, I don't. I might at home by myself.
His eyes were glazed.
You got anything else?
I don't know. What else? What else is going on out there?
I don't know. I think it's just like, let's see what happens, especially after family day and March break. Mm-hmm. See what happens with the market. It's hard to tell where it's going.
I heard you talking about there is more homeless people you've been seeing.
Yeah. In Toronto, there's been a lot of just more homeless camps coming up, and food banks record high. I was listening to Pierre Poilievre talk, and he was saying that the amount of people that went to the food bank last year could fill the Rogers Center 7 times. It's really sad.
Is that individual? Like, Does that include the repeat people, or is it like visits that could be repeat?
Sorry, I don't know the exact amount, but it's just crazy to see, not just homelessness because the economy's bad, but like drug addiction and drug use. Like it's really sad.
Canada is number 2 in the world for the most drug addicted people per, I guess it's based on population, of course.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. I didn't think that we were up there, and we're number 2. What, state's number 1, I'd imagine?
Yeah, I think the States was number one. I would imagine, but it's, and number 2 in a country of 40 million people is pretty wild. Right. And like a lot of it has to do with, just how lax our system is with imports and exports. Like, how is it so easy that all these cars are getting taken off? Right. Like there was a guy in Brampton and he followed his car to the train station. He's like, my car is on that train. Like, help me get it off.
No way.
And the police officer goes, we can't. He ended up getting a ticket because he hopped the fence. And they just watched it. They watched it go off to Montreal, and then it got shipped somewhere else. And then it was, next thing you knew, it was pinging somewhere in Africa.
In Africa, it went to Africa.
Yeah, so it's just like how the security on these what are they called, containers, the shipping containers, they're just such a joke. Where like that's why there's so many car thefts, and the punishment isn't good enough. It's not high enough. Like there should be a way worse punishment for it. And then you think about what else is coming in on containers. Well, it's fentanyl, it's drugs, it's all these different opioids where unfortunately people get addicted to them. And you might have had back pain, for example, and then you get subscribed to an opioid, and then next thing you know, you're addicted to it. And next thing you know, your life's ruined. So there needs to be more scrutiny on it, in my opinion.
Well, even just listening to you talk about that, it just reminds me of like, if you look at like even some of the, like what's going on, it was a little while ago in Texas, like illegal immigration and all that.
Yeah, that's still going on. Yeah.
And so the amount of people coming in and then just getting in, and the amount of corruptness you hear about. And again, people could just be, saying their opinions. Who knows what actually goes on?
Yeah. The best news is on Twitter because it's not censored. So you can actually like see, like I watched the immigration in Texas because there's people like showing the video of it, and it was just.
I need to get back on Twitter.
Yeah, it's people just running through the border, masks on obviously because they don't want to show their face, but it's it's illegal straight up. So it's a wild time, and with media at your fingertips, you can see what's going on everywhere.
So Instagram. Remember how that whole thing with Meta, like Canadian news, we were blocked.
The bill or whatever.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
I still think it's blocked.
It's still blocked.
Yeah, it's still blocked. So, I don't think you can share news articles.
Okay, so Instagram and Facebook are censored.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Well, actually, I know this because it'll even say, like you can't post something what did it have to do with? It was like an article. Anyways, so Twitter doesn't have any of those restrictions. 0.
Yeah, Twitter is very much like free speech. Like it's just an open platform, basically. So yeah,
and Reddit. Reddit's interesting too.
I'm not big on Reddit, but
I like Reddit,
no. Well, I've just never really like. For me, Twitter's like instant. Like it's like crazy how fast the news comes on Twitter. Like you're always like you're so up to date. Like I'll just go on Twitter, refresh, and they'll be like.
I like Reddit for specific topics. Like I was on the plane watching Oppenheimer, and so I was like, "Oh, this is so interesting." So then I'm on Reddit, reading a debate between if he is evil because he created the nuclear bomb, right? Or if he was a good man and like all this. So it's like can sometimes get introspective and pretty deep. Mm-hmm. So I like it for that. So specific topics, like even immigration in Canada, and you'll see debates and people go off. But I guess Twitter's good for news. Reddit's good for if you want to like get some juicy.
The amount of like, even just stuff in Brampton too, the 25 students in the one basement, and Brampton is just an absolute mess. They have over 100,000 illegal rentals that they know about. So you just have landlords exploiting people, but also you have a housing crisis. So they're providing housing that sucks, but without that house, where are they going to live? I don't know. It's this crazy mess. Yeah. But
you know what? That brings me to another topic. So I have a listing coming in Brampton. Okay, the tenant will not leave. Okay, we've offered cash for keys. We have offered him another rental that's down the street. like just offered to help, and he's underpaying rent by like mass amounts. And he's being so difficult, and I understand it's his house, but it's like, okay, you are paying nothing compared to what normal rent is, and you guys have jobs, you have a family. So we need him to move. We've offered him $15,000 or $15,000, move to the next one down the street. We'll help you get, that lease sorted out, and just absolutely won't leave. So it's like sad for sellers.
Why won't he leave? Because the rent goes up when he goes down the road.
Yeah, but we're going to pay for that whole year.
Well, why should you have to do that?
You shouldn't have to.
This is where it's theft.
It is.
Like,
it is.
why should I give you $15,000 to move if I give you the enough time allotted?
Yeah.
Which is the 60 days, but it has to be at the start.
It's not the landlord's fault that the rent's gone up. It's about $750 more.
The landlord wants to sell. Like, it's his. He bought it, right? Like, you knew going in that you were going to rent a house from somebody. Yeah. So the fact that like Ontario is so broken that people are doing cash for keys. Yeah. Like, if you're cash for keys but you're under a contract, it makes sense, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, you're just, but your contract's over.
And he's making the inside of it disgusting, and it's all bad.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, a sheriff, that's why people are going to the States and investing there, because
too angry. And
the sheriff will be at the door in 30 days.
You know what? Maybe he doesn't have money, and he's like, I can't afford anything else. So, maybe that's where the tenant's mind is at. But it just like even brings me to my next point that I wanted to bring up, is the amount of fraud going on. I find right now, like, I'm hearing about all these scams, and fraud. And I don't know if these companies are broke or people are just looking to make a buck, but I would be careful, like, anybody out there that's doing anything. Like, for example, I was just in a situation where I unfortunately got into an accident, was done through an insurance. The rental car company that just happened to know this body shop that I was at was like, there in a second, gave me this rental car. It was all like really quick, and I agreed. And then I ended up getting a rental car from this company, and then I gave the car back. And then they called me the next day, and underneath my car, the rental car, they were like, there's all this damage and all these crazy dings that weren't there when I dropped it off. And I'm like, I didn't do that. And then they're like, you owe us $5,000 right now, or we're going to force another claim on your policy. And I just had a claim on my policy. So I'm like, I didn't do this damage. I would have had to be basically doing bumper cars because there's dings in random spots. Like, I would have had to hit so many different things. And they're smart because underneath the car, nobody looks.
Yeah,
right?
Why would you look?
So they're like, you must have gone over a massive bump because the engine cover's off and all this. And then looking into it a little bit more, I'm like, this is so fraudulent because all of their Google reviews. So just so anybody else that's listening, it's called Future Rent-A-Car. All of their reviews are that they fraud people, and they essentially demanded $5,000 from me, and I was about to pay it. Okay, I was about to pay it, and then and then I read the reviews, and every ton of other people are like, do not rent from this company. They scam people, and they're getting money from these people.
Wow.
And it's just like, it's such a sad world we live in that's like a
that's
thing going on in my
money.
hometown, that people are just getting scammed. They need
exploiting it. Yeah.
Right?
Wow. That car was like
that car. The rental car was worth $5,000. I almost paid it. I had my credit card out,
and then you just stopped.
And then I just was like, I just want to look at their company, and on their Google reviews, it's absolutely horrendous what they do to people.
Wow.
But this is just an example. There's more stuff where that.
There's
came from, like
income scams, rental
stealing,
scams,
like theft is even up. I was talking to a manager at a store, like their crime rate in people just stealing food, right? Like at Whole Foods, the theft is way up, and it's not people stealing like the nice like jackets anymore. People are stealing bread. Right?
Yeah. It's I was reading that like some Tim Hortons have like stopped inside access. You can only go through the drive-through because it's just there are people just coming in, just stealing, or they're demanding money, or they're wrecking the place inside.
Yeah, the gas station by my house in Oakville closes at like 9, and I have to do it through the window, and he like opens the box, and I see them in Toronto a lot after a certain time, and okay, fine. But I'm in Oakville, I'm literally walking my dog there. And yes, it's dark, but like it's just like me, this little girl, and he's like giving me through a
used to be able to sleep with your door open.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's so like the gas station not even allowing me in at 9:00 at night. It's like, this is the world we live in right now. And you know what? Desperation is what causes
crime.
And like, desperate people do desperate things.
For sure.
And I don't think, like, Canada has always been big on not allowing their people to become too desperate, right? Like helping the homeless or like all the programs that Ontario Works, for example. They try to, give that little umbrella underneath the most desperate people.
Yeah.
But what happens when things keep treading?
Yeah. There's too many people desperate now, or you can't keep up with it. So anyways, eerie note to leave off on, but it's true. Canada's it's changed, and hopefully there's a brighter future ahead.
Yeah.
Because it's hard out here for sure. Anyways, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe here. We appreciate you if you made it this far. If you want to book a call with us, if you want to buy, sell, or lease real estate, you can do so in the first link in the description. We're happy to talk to you. It's absolutely free. It's just a quick Zoom call. If you are on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts, you can find us there, where we have a lot of short clips as well. And there's a newsletter that we do weekly too. So if you want to stay up to date on stuff via like a 5-minute newsletter, you can click the link and you can sign up there. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week. Take care.